Hi, everyone. Welcome back to One Energy World, hosted here on the One Business World platform. As we gather, we're sharing our vision of a sustainable, efficient, and inclusive energy landscape for the benefit of our planet and its people. Our conference is serving as a platform for thought leaders, policymakers, industry experts, and investors to engage in an open and meaningful dialogue. We're joined now this morning from New York City, Daniel Roig. He's the partner in the Greenlight Group. Daniel's going to talk to us about distributed energy in the future. Daniel, good morning. Let me hand it off over to you, and I will join you on the backside.
Good morning, and thank you, Glenn, for the introduction. And I'd like to thank all attendees for joining this presentation. So I'm going to start sharing the presentation.
Looks good.
Perfect. As you all know, today I will be talking about distributed energy and why we think this is the future. But first, let me give you a little background on myself and on Greenlight Group. Even though I started my career as an electronics engineer, I then moved on to the world of finance, got my MBA at Harvard, and started several funds in the real estate and technology sectors. Later got involved in sustainable energy and climate tech and joined Greenlight Group as one of the partners and as a member of the investment committee. At Greenlight, we invest in climate tech with a focus on Norway and the Nordics. Greenlight's main theme for investment is distributed energy. Over the last years, policymakers and market players have been moving towards decentralized forms of energy production and consumption, and our plans are to invest alongside this megatrend. We are a member of the Principles for Responsible Investment of the UN, and we are considered a dark green or Article 9 fund, meaning we comply with SFDR or Sustainable Finance Disclosure Regulation Article 9. An Article 9 fund under SFDR is defined as a fund that has sustainable investment or reduction in carbon emissions as its objective. 100% of our investments fall within this category. You may ask why we concentrate in the Nordic region. As you may or may not know, Norway is one of the most advanced countries in the world in regards to sustainability, climate tech, and clean energy. It currently produces over 98% of its electricity using renewable energy. Over 84% of vehicles sold last year were electric, while in the US, that number is only 6%, and in Europe as a whole, it is only 11%. As a simple comparison going forward, the government in Norway has a policy in place that calls for 100% of vehicles sold by 2025 to be electric, as opposed to the US setting a target to achieve 50% of vehicles to be electric by 2030. Norway was an early adopter and therefore an attractive testbed for climate-related technologies. Thanks in great part to huge government support that started over 15 years ago, Norway has become the Silicon Valley of climate tech. Even McKinsey has recognized this in an article that they recently published. The Norwegian government, which has the largest sovereign fund in the world, actively supports innovation in this sector through several government funds, which provide grants and favorable loans to companies. Government support and involvement are a crucial part for reaching sustainability goals anywhere in the world. Providing important tax credits and offering benefits for utilizing renewable energy has been at the core of the success of countries like Norway. We are now seeing this same strategy being taken on in the US and in Europe. In August 2022, the US passed the Inflation Reduction Act, or IRA, which provides $369 billion for climate and clean energy provisions. Greenlight has formed a team with specific knowledge of the IRA in order to help our portfolio companies expand into the US market and take full advantage of it. Just think of the transportation sector and how electric cars run on batteries. Just analyzing the US market, think about the fact that currently less than 1% of the 250 million cars in the US are electric. If we are to reach the goal of having 50% of these cars to be electric by 2030, that will require over 125 million new cars to be produced within the next 7 years, and that is only in the US. At the core of Greenlight's strategy, we focus on the distributed energy ecosystem. But exactly what is this? Broadly speaking, it is the movement away from centralized energy assets like utility, solar, wind, oil, and gas, to decentralized energy production obtained from small-scale energy resources, usually situated near the sites where the electricity is used. such as rooftop solar panels, corporate-owned wind and solar, batteries, and the use of alternative energies such as microhydro and anaerobic digestion. The rapid expansion of these technologies is transforming not only the way electricity is generated, but also how it is traded, delivered, and consumed. There is a large focus on how the consumer of electricity also becomes the power producer and storage center of electricity by use of battery technology, EVs, and other consumer-owned products. Small-scale clean energy systems located behind the meters, such as PVs, battery systems, and electric vehicles, are increasingly widespread and are already transforming our energy systems. In fact, 167 gigawatts of distributed PV systems were installed globally between 2019 and 2021, which means their peak output is higher than the peak consumption of the entire France and Britain. Primary beneficiaries of distributed energy systems are the consumers who own them. These systems enable consumers to produce and consume electricity more in accordance with their own needs. Distributed energy systems can supply affordable electricity to households and businesses, reducing their dependence on the grid and helping them to shield from outages such as during extreme weather events. One additional key issue that is addressed by using distributed energy system deals with security concerns. Governments are constantly under the threat of attacks to their energy production and distribution installations. By moving to a decentralized distributed energy model, these threats are greatly eliminated. This new world of distributed energy has posed many challenges and has opened the door to endless new business opportunities. At Greenlight, we recognized early on that one of the main challenges the world was facing in regards to reaching its sustainability goals had to do with the lack of commercially attractive renewable energy, new technologies required to reach net zero. These past few years, we have seen an explosion of new technologies coming out of the Nordic region, which we believe will be instrumental in shifting to a more distributed clean energy world. Our Climate Technology Fund 1 has invested in several leading climate tech companies which cover a broad range of technologies, most of which form part of the distributed energy model and are all contributing to decarbonization and the sustainability of our planet. Just to mention some of our portfolio companies and their involvement in the distributed energy ecosystem, we could initially look at grid interactive systems that can optimize electricity production and consumption while accommodating grid needs and offering a wide spectrum of grid support services. Battery storage systems can provide a range of services to the grid, such as storing energy during excess renewable generation periods and discharging it during peak demand, as well as frequency stabilization. Virtual power plants, which are networks of decentralized power generating units and storage systems, can optimize the aggregation of distributed resources across large areas by using advanced data analytics such as machine learning. TGN is one such company offering this technology. TGN offers highly efficient energy systems to customers within commercial buildings and production facilities. This energy production and storage solution is installed in or near the premises of an office building, house, or industrial plant, which enables the owners to reduce power costs. The technology optimizes the energy source used at any given time, for example, solar or battery. Additionally, its systems facilitate the establishment of local energy production and energy storage for its customers and optimizes the utilization of renewable energy sources. It improves utilization of existing capacity through power equalization and provides fewer interruptions and even better power quality for customers, which is very important for local producers in areas where the grid is unstable. On top of this, its products improve value stacking through aggregating decentralized energy systems and makes the system available for participation in flex markets for electricity. This means that the business case for investment in sustainable energy systems is improved by the addition of income streams. The products consist of hardware and software closely linked together with a cloud aggregation platform. Hardware mainly consists of energy storage batteries, converters, automation, and control systems. Software is a proprietary customer-optimized energy management system that can be aggregated to other energy management systems, no matter size or geographic location, enabling full control of operation and monitoring, maintenance, and revenue of energy storage installation. To illustrate one of TGN's product offering, we could look at their grid frequency stabilization component. Grids operate at a certain frequency, and it is critical for grid operators to maintain this frequency stable. When you introduce renewable energy producing assets into the grid, the effects on the stability of the grid become very challenging, mainly because of the high variability of solar and wind. It is always necessary to match consumption to production over the grid, as any imbalances may affect the frequency and even threaten the interruption of service. In order to maintain this balance, grid operators can use several traditional reserves to balance the grid, but most of these take a few seconds or minutes to come online. The use of batteries to cover this short periods of imbalance become critical. As such, grid operators run a market in which they buy battery capacity from the market in order to cover these temporary imbalances. TGN's platform interconnects grid operators, customers, and market operators in order to cover these needs and offer a highly attractive revenue stream to its customer, while only using their battery installations for a few seconds per day and without affecting their internal use of batteries. In the screen here, we have an example of something called the fast frequency reserve, which is used in many countries around the world, and in which at certain point, when the frequency varies up to a certain degree and before the reserves come in, that's when FFR is activated and TGN's platform can help in stabilizing the network. As you know, currently, the main source of renewable energies are wind and solar. Unfortunately, both of these resources cannot produce a constant power output and vary greatly by time of day, climate, and time of year. In order to be able to provide clean energy during periods of time when the sun doesn't shine and the wind doesn't blow, batteries or similar sources of energy storage are required. On the battery side, TGN offers several solutions for its customers, with a 1 megawatt-hour battery being at the core of its product line. Another company from our portfolio which is actively involved in the distributed energy market is Norhybrid. As you may know, there are several types of wind turbines available in the market, with the most common one being the horizontal axis turbine shown in the center of this slide. Norhybrid has created a vertical axis turbine that can generate wind power more efficiently than ever before. It has been designed to be integrated with the urban landscape, and it combines high efficiency with low energy costs. Norhybrid turbines are silent and compact enough that they can be placed in rooftops or in urban settings. They are safe for the surrounding environment. They can also be placed within existing solar parks without affecting shadows. Thanks to the fact that wind will usually be available during periods when the sun is not, the energy producing capacity of these installations is increased significantly. Norhybrid not only offers its vertical axis turbine, but it can offer a full energy system, which incorporates PV panels, wind turbines, battery systems, and an energy management system. Greenlight is also involved in the microhydro sector. When we think of hydroelectric plants, we usually think of large dams with large capacity hydroelectric turbines, which can deliver up to 5 or even 20 gigawatts of power. Unfortunately, most large-scale hydroelectric projects require building dams that seriously impact the environment and can take years to develop. As opposed to these plants, microhydro installations, which usually generate between 1 and 5 megawatts, can be installed with minimum to no charge to a river's ecosystem, as these installations do not require a dam. In countries like Norway, microhydro is a thriving sector. At present, the largest microhydro group in the country already operates over 120 plants. Next in the line of portfolio companies, we have Greenstat. Greenlight is a Norwegian renewable energy and technology company. Their main focus is on energy production, such as wind and solar power, and on the production of the energy carrier hydrogen. Hydrogen will be an important part of the future's energy mix to achieve emission-free transport on land and at sea, cover the increasing energy demand, and to be able to decarbonize several industrial processes. Hydrogen and ammonia, which is a byproduct of hydrogen, differ from traditional energy production, mainly because they are not a source of energy, but an energy carrier that allows the transport of energy in a usable form. Hydrogen and ammonia can be used for propulsion and heating. Current transport vehicles use mainly batteries as a source of energy. Unfortunately, current technology in this field is not powerful enough, and it does not have the required capacity to power large transportation vehicles like cargo ships. Hydrogen and ammonia have the capacity to power these vessels, considering that 90% of the world's trade is transported by sea, and considering that cargo ships emit about 1 billion metric tons of CO2 per year, substituting fossil fuels for hydrogen or ammonia-operated ships will be critical for a sustainable future. On the portfolio, we also have North Solar, which is a fast-growing energy company founded in 2017 and based in Stavanger, Norway, which develops, finances, builds, owns, and operates solar PV plants in development countries. Its focus is on commercial and industrial energy buyers in high-growth markets. Its business model offers customers the ability to reduce their energy bills with no capital investments while using renewable energy. Currently has operations in 6 countries, including Brazil, South Africa, Vietnam, Pakistan, and Hungary. Hypothermics is another example of new technologies in the renewable energy space. They develop and supply compact biotechnological facilities that convert organic waste into renewable energy, such as biogas, fertilizers, and protein mass. But they do this in a significantly faster way than other solutions on the market. Hypothermics uses a type of bacteria obtained from heat sources such as underwater volcanoes. This bacteria is used in reactors which can convert biomass into biogas or protein in a matter of hours as opposed to days. The process can be up to 6 times faster, but it can also yield up to 50% more biogas than the regular process. With reactors of many sizes that are applicable to a variety of industries, the production of biogas can be done at a much smaller scale and in a more distributed way. Many of the companies we have in our pipeline are involved in several areas related to distributed energy systems. For example, in the EV charging market, there are now systems which can charge and discharge EV batteries to take advantage of varying electricity prices throughout the day, while providing storage capacity to grid operators by making use of existing idle capacity in the network. An additional example includes geothermal energy, an energy which does not emit greenhouse gases and is available everywhere 24/7. Very deep geothermal energy wells, which are drilled down to 5,000 or 6,000 meters, can be dug almost anywhere in the world, have a life expectancy of over 50 years, and can be used to produce heating and electricity on a distributed basis with very attractive economics. We would like to spend just a couple of minutes to introduce you to other companies in our portfolio which are less directly related to distributed energy, but have cutting-edge technologies that are helping us to get into a sustainable future. One of these companies is CleanBay Renewables. Sustainably processing waste is one of the big challenges facing us at the moment. CleanBay Renewable naturally reuses byproducts from the poultry industry to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. CleanBay uses chicken litter and converts it to natural gas and organic fertilizer. There are 9 billion chickens raised in the US annually, which produce 14 million tons of litter. Uncontrolled litter releases nitrous oxide, a greenhouse gas with 300 times the impact of CO2, and produces nitrogen and phosphorus in a runoff, which lead to algae blooms that pollute our waterways. CleanBay Renewables is currently developing a network of anaerobic digestion and nutrient recovery facilities. At full capacity, each plant will recycle more than 150,000 tons of chicken litter annually into renewable natural gas and natural fertilizer and can reduce greenhouse gas emissions by up to 1 million tons of CO2. One last example I would like to give you is an arbor flame. Arbor flame, as you know, coal-fired plants are one of the main polluters and contributors of CO2 to the atmosphere. Currently, they produce 6 billion tons of CO2 a year. Just one 500 megawatt plant produces 4 million tons of CO2 in a year. The world needs to rapidly reduce these emissions while still maintaining a reliable base load to the electric grid, which is one of the things that we had mentioned was a problem on the distributed energy model. Arbor flame manufactures what is known as a black pellet, which is used to substitute coal, but emits 90% less CO2 than coal, while having a similar energy content. Arbor flame's black pellets are made from sawdust, obtained from sawmills practicing sustainable forestry. These pellets can be co-fired with regular coal, and retrofits required in existing coal-fired plants would cost $5 to $10 million. As opposed to retrofits required for burning white pellets or other fuels, which can cost $100 to $500 million per plant. As we have seen from all the previous examples, there is a vast amount of new ventures entering the distributed energy arena. At Greenlight, we are closely involved with the sector, and we have created a platform to help our portfolio companies penetrate the market successfully. One of our main differentiating strategies lies in the ability to bring Norwegian technology to the global markets. We currently have offices in Oslo, Luxembourg, New York, and Mexico City, and we will be opening Japan and Singapore this year. This international presence in Latin America, Asia, Europe, and the US offers our portfolio companies a key advantage to help them scale globally. Some of the additional areas where Greenlight is also able to help its portfolio companies be more effective include insurance and carbon credit trading. One problem we have found to be challenging for growth and startup companies deals with the possibility of uncertain technological performance by the introduction of new technologies. To support our fund companies, we currently offer insurance options which can mitigate technology risks by offering protection of principal, interest, and return of partial equity to investors. This is not only secures cash flow, but also lowers the cost of capital over time. Additionally, Greenlight has created a carbon credit trading platform, which helps its portfolio companies monetize their carbon credit in an efficient way. As I have mentioned in previous presentations, I believe we are living in a time of big changes, especially in how we think of energy. This has opened a wide range of opportunities. We're just launching our second fund, which we believe can provide solid financial returns for investors in ranges of over 20%, while at the same time helping us create a greener energy alternative. Climate change is a reality we're living with. It is no longer just a future possibility. All of us need to address this issue aggressively and pursue the implementation of climate technologies that will make our planet a sustainable environment for generations to come. I thank you for joining me and hope you found some of the things I have presented today to be of interest. In the screen, you can see my email, so feel free to contact me with questions or inquiries regarding the presentation, our investment fund, or Greenlight. Thank you very much.
Daniel, thank you very much. Great presentation as always. Really appreciate your remarks. It's always amazing to me all of the innovation that's coming out of Norway and the Nordic countries. Congratulations on that. Certainly from an early adopter standpoint, for sure. Silicon Valley of climate tech, outstanding. Good tagline. Good tagline. You had down early in the presentation, you had a number of the UN Sustainable Development Goals that you were focusing on, as well as being part of the PRI, which is fantastic. Congratulations on the fund itself being an Article 9 certification as well. That's outstanding. When you look at your portfolio companies on the Greenlight side, and your most recent piece there with offering the insurance and the carbon trading platform, I mean, you're really in there with them throughout the process. How from a management standpoint, a participation standpoint, how collaborative is Greenlight with the portfolio companies? Sounds like you are. And it sounds like, again, you're partnering with some tremendous leaders and great future prospects here in the space.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one of the things that we proud ourselves for being very involved with companies in the portfolio. We have a great team in the U.S., also a team in Norway, in Mexico City, and in Asia. And we do help these companies, which usually, Norway is a country that has 5 million people. So there is great technology, but the ability of many of these companies to actually scale globally is not there. And that's where we come in. We have a pretty good team at helping them recognize opportunities in open markets, especially dealing with things like IRA in the US, which is pretty complicated. So we do get very involved with them and help them along the way to try and establish joint ventures with other companies or with ourselves in order to grow and expand globally.
Oh, terrific, terrific. Well, listen, Daniel, thank you for joining us here today at One Energy World. We're on a hard break here at the moment.
Yeah, I know. And thank you very much for inviting me.
Excellent discussion. Distributed energy is our future. Daniel Roig, the partner in Greenlight Capital. Wish you continued success, and please join us again in the future. Great as always. Outstanding.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you, Daniel. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
I want you to hold me, come and lay with me, set aside your problems with me, baby. Say you'll come